When gardening, it is important to remember the chemistry behind what makes the plants themselves survive and thrive. Depending on the plant, there are various types of nutrients that are required for maximum growth. Some of these include nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. Plants get their nutrients from the soil, but not all plants need the same amount of each of these nutrients. The acidity or alkalinity of the soil is what determines the availability of said nutrients. This is also known as pH. So how do different soil pH levels affect plants?
pH levels matter when gardening because they determine how well different bacteria can grow in the soil, as well as how much of a certain nutrient a plant can obtain. Bacteria release nitrogen from organic materials in soil, increasing the amount of that nutrient. A more acidic soil is less hospitality for these bacteria, so plants can prefer a lower pH, also don't require as much nitrogen. Soil structure contains macronutrient and micronutrient to form a good soil. In a physical way, soil builds up with particular of sand, clay, and organic matter. 3 to 5% of clay can help increase amount of water and cation. However, too much clay can cause plant stress due to high levels of sodium. The pH levels also determine the abundance of aluminum ions. When they come into contact with a plant's roots, it stops growth of the roots, and the plant can no longer grow. This is called aluminum toxicity. Luckily, aluminum ions aren't released as much in soil with a pH greater than 5. So as long as the soil is not too acidic, the plant should be able to grow. Generally speaking, a pH between 5.5 and 7 is ideal for a growing plant. That means a neutral or slightly acidic soil is best for general gardening.
Different plants require different pH levels. For example, apple trees grow best at a pH between 5.5 and 6.5, but blueberry bushes tend to prefer a more acidic soil between 4.5 and 5.5. This is due to their different requirements for nutrients, which is also why they taste so different to us. Unfortunately, pH often changes by itself, tending to become more acidic over time due to the release of plant waste.
Gardeners or farmers often have an interface with acidity of their soil to maintain the ideal growth of their plants. This is done with agricultural limes, which are chemicals that help increase the pH of soil. Some common limes include carbonate, oxides, and hydroxides of calcium or magnesium. Let's look at an example of chemical reaction that increase the pH of soil. As you can see, there are a lot of hydrogen ion and aluminum ion in the soil right now, making it too acidic. When the gardener adds calcium bicarbonate to the soil, the calcium ion splits from the bicarbonate polyatomic ion. The bicarbonate ion splits into carbon dioxide and hydroxide ions. The carbon dioxide provides pressure that allows the reaction to take place, and the hydroxide ion bonds with hydrogen ions to form water, or they bond with aluminum cations to form aluminum hydroxide, which is no longer a threat to the roots of plants. The spare calcium ions are dissolved in water and do not negatively affect the roots of plants that same way that aluminum ions do.
So that was a basic overview of how the pH of soil can affect plants when gardening and how farmers and gardeners alike often change the pH for their specific plant. Understanding this can give us a greater appreciation of the foods we eat. So next time you're munching on that apple, think about the chemist who helped it become that tasty.